The scene where you're dancing, and I'm sure people bring this up to you all the time.
Never.
I know. I'm sorry.
No.
Because I'm so curious.
No. I get it.
This is the way that I am like with Battlestar Galactica, where people are like, I just have to know. And I'm like, okay.
And I get it. It totally makes sense.
Yeah. I cannot believe that entire thing was unscripted.
Yeah.
That's like, how did you do that as an actor? Because that's really challenging to do.
That wasn't really my actor side. That was 100% kind of like, that was me. I was very Jon Heder. Like in my late high school years, but definitely in college, I will say it again, my twin and I adopted, we loved everything 70s. And we just had this big love of like disco and
like John Travolta?
We were going, 100%. Yeah. Like John Travolta, disco, like 70s music and dance music. And we were always, kind of goofing during high school, but it wasn't until college that we started like kind of mess around whenever there were like, student dances or stuff. We get out there and we just kind of like mimic. I think we just naturally would mimic, and we'd see things and we'd start dancing. It was just kind of a goofy little side, party trick. And then a few years into college after, I met Jared, it was when we were shooting the short film that Jared's like, simply, because it's not in the short film, but he said, Jared, he's like, sorry, Jared's to go, Jon, I hear you like to dance. Like you're pretty good at dancing. Because at that point where I was living I wasn't living in the dorms. I was living off campus, but close. And in our like kind of community of other college students, there would be times where we gathered together. My good friend who lived next to me was in a band. And so we'd always have like, all the college people gather around the house and play music. He was very Dave Matthews inspired, which is not my jam at all, but I love the guy to death. But anyways, we'd get in groups together. And at the time I was just like, okay, I had no problem. I wasn't dating or anything like that. And I was...
Well, had you danced like that, you wouldn't have been.
Well, no, maybe if I danced more, I would have. I was just starting to... Point was, you put on some music and I would start coming out of my shell. Like I had already come out of my shell, like, a few years earlier. But so it was a thing. I was like, yeah, I'll kind of like, oh, don't play that Jamiroquai. And it was. Jamiroquai was like my jam. And like, or if you play some disco and then they put it on a boombox, I'm like, uh-oh, here we go. And like, I just start dancing and just start messing around. But I started like really getting into it. And so, just the locals, the kids, they loved it. And so some of that word got out. And because there's always someone who knows someone. So yeah, Jared's like, dude, I hear you can dance. You like to dance. I was like, yeah, sure. I mean, I'm all humble about it because I'm not a professional. I don't go clubbing or anything like that. So he's like, hey, let's shoot you dancing for this short. Like, let's put you on like the gravel road in the middle of nowhere and maybe we can work it in. So I did this little dance and he loved it. But he's like, it doesn't work for the short. It just doesn't work. But then that's when he came back, whatever, it was months later when we started talking about the feature. And he's like, you want to do this? Yeah, I want to do this. And he's like, okay, so I really want to put the dancing in the movie. I want to make it like the climax of the movie. Like, this is the thing you got to show off at the end of the movie. Mm-hmm. I was like, really? And, of course, there was a part of me that was like scared, but also like, oh, that could be, if it works out, that could be cool because it is so opposite of that character.
Yeah.
And it also felt like it was a very personal thing. Yeah. I loved it. I was like, yeah, this is like 100% my dancing. The only acting was on the day, because, it was one of the last things we shot, and we shot for about 22 days. So I think Jared thought, hey, you can prepare whatever your method is. I was like, I don't have a method. I just kind of wing it. I've never, choreographed or anything. Yeah. And I was like, should we get a choreographer? And he was like, well, I mean, we can't afford one. So if you can find it's like, all right, I'll just do my thing, I guess. And the only thing really, I just was like, okay, play some music and I'll get up there and I'll just kind of do my thing. But I just have to like stay in the Napoleon. Like normally if I could dance around, I'd smile. Yeah. And that was the only thing. I was just like, okay, just don't smile. Don't like emote. Just do it all with the body and just keep it Napoleon up here.
Yeah.
In the face. And so that was it. And we had a good time. But it would be different now. Like maybe I would have invited more people because a lot of the people on set and the crew and somebody like, hey, can we, they weren't even asking. They just assumed. I was like, no, this is a closed set. Like, I don't want anybody here. Yeah, I was just like, I want this to be good. And I think I'm going to get nervous. I was like, I think I'm going to get nervous. I don't know, but
that's like your version of a sex scene. You're like, we're going to need to close.
It was 100%. But I was like, I don't know what it does, but let's just play it safe and just like kick everybody out.
Yeah.
And so they did. And I remember some of the people were getting offended, almost like, well, why can't we? I was like, no, look, let's do what's right for the movie. And then later on, we found out a couple of them had snuck in, were hiding like behind some of the pews and stuff like that. Or not pews, the seats and stuff. And so they were watching. But yeah, I mean, we just did it and it was, yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Masterclass. You know how easy it is to get stuck scrolling your phone and suddenly like an hour has gone by? Yeah, I've been there. And lately I have been swapping that habit for something that actually leaves me feeling good. Masterclass. On the platform, you can learn from some of the best in the world to become your best. With plans starting at just $10 a month, billed annually, you get unlimited access to over 200 classes from business leaders and writers to chefs and athletes. Right now, I've been diving into acting with Helen Mirren. I mean, come on, like learning from the best? Exactly. That's what I love. And I've actually started applying what I've been learning. It's practical, inspiring, and honestly, it's become a routine that stretches my brain in the best way. Here's the best part. Every new membership comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So there's no risk. Right now, our listeners get an additional 15% off any annual membership at masterclass.com/Katee. That's 15% off at masterclass.com/Katee. Masterclass.com/Katee.